God, we come before you in gratitude that even such an event was possible. We can't take for granted getting together. We thank you for that. Then we also remember that you said where two or more are gathered, you are there. So we come before you and place this meeting in front of us as Kenyans who are in the US and wanting you in our presence as we plan, especially for our students who are treading the path a lot of us have treaded, and they are working their way through life. Lord, I especially place this gathering in your hands and to guide us as we go through. We ask all this in gratitude and believing in Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, again, and welcome. My students are there. Moffat is in class. He said he's finishing at 8:30, should be on his way, not Moffat. Gilbert is in class. But I want to welcome all of you to KESID. This is the Kenya Students in Diaspora. We have many of our board members here. I really appreciate. We have Dr. Muchai, we have Dr. Ndiangwe, Dr. Wanyama, Dr. Teuri. I don't think I forgot anyone. But thank you so much to our board members. And then we have our students. I see our student leaders. I see Stanley. I see Wangoi. I see few of our students who are here, but this is the students organization that I started a few years ago. Actually, I started in 2019, but right now it is registered as a non-profit organization, 501c3 in the state of North Carolina, purely to support students, international students.
I'll stay nice and warm tonight.
Please mute. So once we agreed with the students we agreed that we'll be having different topics every first Tuesday of the month. And the students actually picked this topic, they picked the day. So today we're gonna talk about stress. You know, look at college stress. This is a very stressful time. So how has stress affected college students, especially during this time of COVID? So we're looking at stress. Just college in itself is stressful for international students, and then coupled with COVID. So what are some ways that students can deal with that? And we have a great panelist today. We have our own students. We have Mr. Saming Etich, and I'm going to let Saming Etich introduce himself, and then I'm going to let Vida Otieno introduce themselves. I don't want to take the stage. I want them to really tell us who they are, what they do, and then they will get in, then we'll ask them the questions. So go ahead, Mr. Ngetich, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Professor Cherono. Thank you, everybody, panelists, and those that are officials in this KESID, plus also the rest of the students that are here with us. My name is Pastor Saming Etich. I currently reside here in North Carolina. Home is in Eldoret. I've been here for about 2 seasons, and here my family is here with me as well. So, well, somebody said, you know, 2 seasons is about 10 years. So, I mean, so 10 years per season. My interest has been in the area of counseling. I have a background in theology, and then I have a master's in counseling. So I'm a clinical counselor. But my interest kind of shifted a little bit because having spent so much time dealing with individuals, dealing with marriages and families, I began to see a trend that continues to go beyond the individuals, beyond the families, to the community. And I began to realize that as I continued to work, we are doing reactionary work where we are coming back to deal with people that are suffering after the fact. And I remembered what Francis Mbuga said in his book, Betrayal in the City, that when the madness of the entire nation disturbs a solitary mind, it is not enough to say man is mad. If you remember Mulili, And then I said, so if the problem is that there is always the madness of the entire nation affecting an individual who was minding their own business, then we end up blaming that individual, but the problem is the society and the community. So I wanted to go into the area of community education and empowerment, community education and sustainability. So that's why I shifted to do curriculum and instruction, so that I can be able to pool my clinical skills and go to the community and deal with that in terms of addressing issues of stress, issues of anxiety, issues of depression, and mental health in general, and how it impacts itself with physical health. So I'm currently a student in Michigan. I'm doing a PhD in curriculum and instruction, but with an area in community education and sustainability. So that is where we are, and I'm glad to be here tonight to learn from all of you as we share together our experiences. My dissertation is actually looking at challenges and coping strategies that Kenyan immigrants are using, and I'll be comparing those in US and Canada to be able to see what is going on. So I think that is what I will say in brief tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pastor Ngetich is also my pastor, is my neighbor, is our friend. So thank you so much. And we worked with Sam Ngetich at North Carolina A&T. I will now invite Ms. Vida Otieno.
Okay, so I'm Vida Otieno. I also live in North Carolina. I have been in North Carolina for about 8.5 years. I've lived in the United States for about 20 years. So I work in mental health as well. I work with youth that have been adjudicated, youth that are arrested and in the juvenile justice system or under DSS custody. We work with their parents, and we work with everybody in their ecological system. My passion since undergrad, I went to undergrad and master's at Alabama A&M, has been doing research with international students. Being one myself, I realized the struggles that we go through, the barriers we face, you know, going into an international student's office and asking for an internship and being told, well, you can't do one because you don't have access, or you don't have the visa to work off campus. So it created this yearning for me to do more research in that area. So as I pursue my educational leadership doctoral degree at High Point University, I'm going to be focusing on a workforce development program catered to assist the international students on how they can transition from a student into the workforce. So I'm halfway through my program, and thank you, Dr. Retich, for having us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ngetich, Pastor Ngetich and Vida. It's interesting, and I really like, again, I know both of you from North Carolina, and I really like what you're doing. You know, Sam is looking at coping strategies, and I know we've talked about that. And then you're looking at international studies. So I thought this would be a perfect topic, and this would be a perfect group to just share with us. So from your perspective, what are some ways that students can deal with stress, especially during this time? We have this convolution, we have COVID, we have online learning, we have so much that is going on, financial challenges. What are some strategies that students can deal with stress, given this environment where we're dealing with a double pandemic? You know, we are dealing with COVID, there's elections, there's online, there's everything that is going on. What would you advise what advice would you give to international students? We'll start with Mr. Ngetich.
I think the most important thing before we proceed with even the coping strategies is to identify some of the problems that we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I found immediately I arrived in this country is I found that I was struggling. And I wanted to understand how come. But when I began to realize that others as international students are dealing with the same thing, then I began to say, then what is the problem? Then I realized there are a lot of things that we share as international students or as immigrants that make it difficult for some of us. When you're dealing with, you know, your grandmother and your aunt and your uncles and all that, some of your students don't deal with that. You know, they worry about maybe their dad or their mom, and some of them don't even know whether they have a mom or a dad. But the extended family, and you're talking about the auntie of a grandfather of somebody, is like, what's that? Even when you go to ask, like, you know, my great grandmother related, you know, twice removed, you know, died, I wanted some days off. It's like, what has that to do with you? So there are things we share that begin to really make it difficult in the whole process of adjustment. And even adjusting not only to the environment, but also adjusting to the culture, adjusting to the education system, adjusting to so many things. But especially during this time, when COVID-19 arrived and most of the programs went completely online, it was a very steep curve for some of the students to be able to adjust to a situation where you're taking completely all your courses online. For some of us, it felt very, very impersonal because we've been raised up in a community where you listen to the professor, you interacted, you had other students. And so for us, education is more than just reading a book and going to class and staring to a computer. One of the things is that I've struggled a little bit with some of the things, like even social media, because I don't know how to laugh in social media because I need somebody live to laugh with me. So when you put some of these emojis and all that, they don't do justice to me. So some of that becomes a problem. That is number one. Number two, there is also a feeling of isolation because we remember when we were raised up, we grew up, you know, not only breastfeeding, but also being carried by your mom and sleeping with your mom and all that. So there was always that body interaction and you needed people to talk to. So immediately this happens, you very keenly feel feelings of isolation, but at the same time, you're not only worrying about this country, you're worrying about your mom and dad at home and relatives and all that, and they're worrying much about you, and they keep calling at odd hours because they think that the time is the same. So not only are you worrying about them, but they're worrying about you. So those are some of the other things that are very important. But if we don't also have a social support, because for many international students, when the schools were closed, then even some of the dorms were closed. And so whatever little support system you had, then all that vanished. And then communications going forth and back became a little bit difficult. Sometimes even phones don't do justice. So those are some of the things. And then the other thing is, there's always the anxiety about the potential homelessness because the dorms were closed. And then you are not even able to work because some of the jobs, as you had Vida mentioned before, you are able to work only within the campus. So when the school closes, then all the jobs evaporate and you can't work outside and you can't live anywhere else because the dorms are closed. So that is another danger and risk of homelessness. And then also, even if you wanted to go home, there was a time when all the boundaries were closed and you couldn't leave this country or you can't even land in Kenya because the boundaries had been, the borders had been closed. And then now, even when you're almost graduating, you didn't know about your visa status, what will happen as a result of that. Because I remember there were so many conflicting directives from the White House and the Homeland Security that were saying, if you can't be able to take a face-to-face class, then you have to go home and do it online. So I don't know whether I will graduate. I don't know what my visa status will be. That is part of the uncertainty. And then also, even if I'm finishing, I don't know what will happen, whether my OPT chances have been canceled or whether it will continue. So identifying those issues would be the first step in understanding that I'm dealing with something. And sometimes all these things get convoluted and you can't be able to know exactly what is happening. But when you begin to identify each of those sources of stress, then it becomes to be the first step in trying to figure out then how do I deal with this? So I wanted to start with that by just identifying the problems, and then maybe Vida can be able to add something to that, and then we will go to, so what do we do then?
Thank you so much, Pastor Ngetich, for going back to the stresses and looking at what are these causes what are these factors that are creating stress among we as a people, our students, or the rest of us. Ms. Otieno, please tell us, you can tell us more about the stresses and then you can go into the strategies if there's anything that Sammy is not, Pastor Ngetich is not included. in terms of the stresses and then the strategies?
Okay, so some of the stressors are, of course, being in a country where you do not know anybody. We come from a society and a culture where, we collectively do things. However, the United States is very individualistic. So coming here, leaving all your family, your cousins, your grandparents, and not being able to have that person to see during our holidays and adjusting to a new holiday and a new social structure is very, very, can be very stressful because Americans socialize in a very different way than we do. So if back at home you were used to doing yamachama on weekends or going to church with your family, and over here as an international student, you're just in the dorm by yourself, you have to find a way to be prepared for culture shock and find ways to acculturate. So it is, in as much as it's great to hang out with other people from the same place, the same country, at some point you have to start also finding your way to learn to adapt. So what is it about the new country and the new state that you're living in that you can learn about? Because if we plan to live here for an extended period of time, then we kind of have to educate ourselves. For example, so when I started off, when I came to the United States, I went to California, then I moved to Alabama. As you all can imagine, those are like two worlds apart. So moving from California to Alabama seemed like I had just moved to the United States because California is very, very diverse. It's like a melting pot. Alabama is black and white. So it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, like, oh, this is a totally different United States. But I quickly had to learn how things were done in the South versus how they were done in California. And I had to take myself away from my friends. Going to Alabama A&M and HBCU also helped me out in understanding, okay, this is their culture. And if I do want to work in this system, if I do need to socialize, then I need to understand how they do things, how they process things, because being in this country, the one thing that we will learn, and we have to learn at some point and recognize, is that the different terminologies they call people that look like us. And so that comes as a shock to us because, where we come from, we're all Kenyans. So when you come here, it becomes a race issue. So trying to learn, trying to educate yourself and learning how the Americans communicate. They're very direct. They like eye contact. We're not so direct. We don't do much eye contact. And knowing those nuances, the quicker we learn or have somebody that can help us learn or help somebody that can teach us that process, we learn to adjust. It does not mean that we're forgetting what our culture is. We're just learning to adapt, adjust, and code switch as necessary. And so in that particular process, I know sometimes it's easier when we're younger, but in our work settings, at various places around the country, if we're working with different groups of people, we will have to learn to know how they communicate. And so things like just learning how people communicate, small talk, it goes a long ways. So those are skills that we can learn while we're still in college by practicing with our peers, because when you get into the real world, it'll be something that we have to do on a consistent basis. So those are simple things that we can start learning how to manage stress while still in college, because we can carry into the workforce and utilize those skills.
Thank you so much, Vida. I appreciate your experience, sharing that experience from California to Alabama and then now to Whitsett. What a big change, right? Whitsett and High Point, small cities. Mr. Ngetich, can you go ahead and share what are some strategies, especially with your experience working on campus as a counselor? What are some strategies that you would suggest for students as to how to deal with this stress?
Thank you, Professor Cherono. One of the things I want to mention before I go to the strategies is what not to do. Okay. Because one of the things that emanate as a result of this, because of the anxiety, especially sometimes because of the risks associated with health, maybe because of the threat of losing school insurance, that would be one of the challenge if you are caught up in this situation. And then of course, the economic issues that we have talked about is also the problem of the stress and the fear of failure because of lack of motivation or even disruption because of all these things. And as a result of that, sometimes we may attempt very unhealthy ways, particularly in the areas of substance abuse and dependency, or maybe other negative coping mechanisms that might lead to very dangerous decisions, in like drug use, like sometimes, very risky intimate relationships that might bring some problem. So in an attempt to be able to spare your sanity, you may dig yourself even deeper into a problem. Then as a result of anxiety and depression, then you may find that anger begins to be a very high, very, very quick fuse of anger that may sometimes lead to tensions in intimate partner violence. It may also lead into issues of accidents, particularly when you're trying to be able to find some jobs. It may be under the, under the table, and you're rushing back from that job, or maybe from drinking or something like that. Unfortunately, in the past 1.5 weeks, a lot of things have happened, and we've lost a lot of young men, maybe about 5 so far. And these are people that were working hard. They're working hard. But as a result of all this, sometimes, I know especially three young people we lost in Delaware last week, a week and a half ago, while returning very late. And I think 2 of them perished. I don't know about the third. The other third was fighting for his life, but I don't know whether he made it or not. So that is one of the greatest danger at this point. We've had also homelessness as a result of this. So one of the things that I think is very important when we begin to think about this is, number one, to try to be able to have a positive reframing. Because when all these things are happening, you can be able to realize that, yes, as much as it's worse for us, there are some things that might actually happen as a result of this COVID. And I think one of the things that has helped us is that this Zoom has really been able to connect us in a way that we've never been connected before. We've been able to know people, even in churches, for example, and organizations. There are people who are connecting with people from Australia all the way to Alaska, to the point that even after churches, for example, are opened up, the pastors will be in trouble if you're not going to preach as good as the one in Australia, because now we've been able to assemble all the preachers all over the world. So that is one thing that I think we can look at and say, you know what, this Zoom has opened doors that we couldn't have known before. So reframing that and counting your blessings and seeing areas that maybe for some people, there may be people who are already even not very social, but then now as you are able to do some of the things from the comfort of your own, wherever you are, there may be some things that actually may play to your strength. So reframing some things would be the first thing that is important. I think the other one is also singing as a support system, not only through social media, but also looking around at the community, because sometimes some of us may have been very busy going to class and all that, but this is where we need to be able to connect with community forums, support groups of students, and even utilizing services. If there are still available services in counseling, it may not be face-to-face, but now we have what you call telehealth. There are some counselors that are now licensed to be able to work online, and they can be able to talk to you that way. So the other thing that I also wanted to talk about is seeking professional help. While these support systems are important, but also seeking professional help, particularly when we begin to see that the stigma associated with mental health is something that you are trying to run away from it, but you may run right into it by being afraid of mental health. But if we begin to realize that we need these in order to help us stabilize, because as I said, when Mulili says, when the madness of the entire nation disturbs the solitary mind, it is not enough to say man is mad. So you don't have to own this as say it is a sign of a weakness on my part. No, it is the sign of the madness of the entire nation. And so you need to protect yourself from this madness and the polarization that is going on in this country, that is bringing in a lot of issues of discrimination, of issues of racism, and issues of all this kind of xenophobia. So getting a community and a village to protect yourself from all that will make sure that you don't allow the weak fault lines to be able to erupt as a sign and a signal of a sick society. And finally, I want to talk about advocacy groups. It is important to be able to have brokers and agencies that are doing advocacy. And that is why, Cherono, I want to salute you again with this team of leadership in order in organizing things like this that are reaching out to be able to let many of our international students know that there is help, there is support. There are people that are out there willing to be able to help. And I've always thanked you, especially Professor Ndiangoi, who you have been very vocal and always saying, reach out to us, we want to help. So that is some of the few things I just wanted to touch.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pastor Mr. Ngetich, for those great words of wisdom and those strategies. I've taken a lot of notes. We'll invite Ms. Otieno, and then we'll go into questions. We're trying not to keep it too long. We'll share the strategies and then way forward, and then we'll open it for questions, Q&A, so that we have more conversations. Yes, Vida?
Okay, sorry if I'm muting myself.
Okay.
Okay, but the way you speak to yourself matters. Self-care is very, very important, whether we're in school or out of school. And there's physical self-care, emotional self-care, spiritual self-care, intellectual self-care, and social and self-care and sensory self-care. So all the different types of self-care, we do not always need to find one person to do it with. You might have friends that you do physical activities with. There might be that one particular person that you have an emotional connection that you trust. And then, we all have spiritual, guidance, pastors, your church family, and intellectual self-care, a professor who can advise you, who knows the path that you're going, who understands you as an international student. That is so vital. That is so important. Sometimes I know we end up in schools where we're probably the only person that is from our own country, and we don't have anybody else that can relate to us. So with the era of Zoom and social media, reaching out, I would empower the international students, reach out, ask people if they can guide you. And I think that's the one thing that, helped me along the way. You have to constantly find those people in your life to help and guide you and help nurture you. And social self-care, even though we're here working hard, we need to find time to just do fun things within reason. And remember, you're still in school. Remember, you're an international student. One wrong turn could, one wrong mistake could really, really end your educational growth in this country. And sensory self-care, just taking care of yourself, your senses, your breathing, and just ensuring that you take time to breathe. That is very, very important. I created a student support checklist. And in the student support checklist, it's very important that you have somebody you can count on if you need a ride to work. Who can you ask? A lot of us come here, we don't have a car. And who's going to be that person? If you need food, shelter, and clothing, who's that person? Yes, we do hang out. Yes, you're invited for a lot of Kenyan events, but in these events, do you have true friends in case you were kicked out of the dorm? Is there somebody that you can call and say, hey, I need a place to stay for a couple of weeks as I figure this thing out? You need to have those people at hand. And as much as you have the fun people to hang out with, you need to have some true friends in your corner. Emotional support. If you need somebody to listen to you when you get emotional, you didn't do so well on a test, or you're just missing home, who can you trust with that information? That is very vital, and that's very important. I know sometimes, culturally speaking, we're brought up to be tough. We don't talk about emotions. It can get very lonely in this country. It can get very lonely. So, get in tune with your emotions, find somebody that understands you, that can motivate you and keep you going. And then appraisal. So if you need that second opinion, if you need advice on school, who's that person? Who's that professor that has been there for you? They don't necessarily have to be at your university. We have a lot of great professors on this panel tonight. Reach out to one of them. If they're in the engineering field and you're doing engineering, reach out and let them guide you. They might not always have time, but even a short email just to say, I need some guidance. When can we meet? And remember, their time is very valuable. And who has given you trustworthy advice? And who has your best interest at heart? Always know that and always keep that in mind. Information, when you need information, who do you go to? With the age of social media, information flies across good, bad, true, untrue. So even as an international student, you need to ensure you're getting your information as it pertains to your visa, registering in school from the right person. You know, the one thing that always reminded us when we were in school, make sure you always check with the International Student Office. And that probably is still true. They might tell you one thing today, one thing tomorrow, but that's their job. They don't understand all the time, but making sure that you're keeping that visa the way it's supposed to be and it's not expired. And lastly, a personal support cost benefit analysis. When you need something, who can assist you in your time of need? What is the advantage of selecting this individual? What is the disadvantage of selecting this person? And also, what is the reciprocal help to this person? Because in life, things are reciprocal for the most part, not always. You know, so if you need a place to stay and you might need to help to babysit, but they're not charging you for rent, and it's a good friend, you might have to look at that and say, oh, okay, this might be temporary. I'm going to get a job, get the next spot, and you know, I'm going to thank them and keep it moving. So it's a short term, it helps, but also just respect the fact that they're helping you. And also the difficulty in selecting this person or the challenges. So you look at it as a whole, not just an immediate thing. And also building long-term support system and long-term friendships. That is very important. That will get you through being here, coming by yourself, going through undergrad, grad, and you know, into finding a job. So, and constantly search for social circles that support you, that empower you, that guide you in the right direction. And don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to just take a step and breathe and see how far you've come.
Thank you so much. I'm learning so much today. I actually went to a conference and they don't call it mental health, they call it emotional hygiene. Because sometimes when we say mental health and stress, our people get scared. So they call it emotional hygiene. I've had social investment. I have had a checklist and support list. So thank you so much. And I think with Vida, we agreed on a way forward. If you want to share that before I open it for questions, we're trying to keep it to 1 hour because it's a school night and people have to go to work tomorrow. You want to share some of the ideas that we talked about?
So we talked about starting a circle of care with KESID, and the circle of care would address stress management, peer-to-peer support, job preparation, because we do realize as you're here, you know, it's always so important to find somebody that has been through the process and that can help guide you. And that's just starting. You know, as we grow, we'll probably add more, but the peer-to-peer support or even just little circles with people with the same degree, we want to ensure that the circle of care meets your individual needs. It's just where you can come, we can talk about the barriers, come up with solutions together, and it's confidential. And we want to keep it that way just to ensure that, you know, our students are getting what they need and also they learn to reach out. I know being young, that's one of the hard things. I remember reaching out to ask for help, and you learn to do that when it's sometimes too late, but it's never too late. So especially when you're in an undergrad and that's what you're doing right now, we want to, you know, show that you can reach out. We're here to help you. Those of us who've been here a long time, we're still learning how to overcome a lot of barriers and challenges, but we're definitely here to help you.
Thank you so much. So before I open to questions, I think moving forward out of this session today, KESID is committed to starting a circle of care, just a program where we all can talk confidential. Vida will lead the ladies, and Pastor Ngetich, I did not tell him, but I'm volunteering him. He's gonna be responsible for the young man because we want to make sure they're addressing men's issues in the comfort of men. We have a lot of mentors here. We have Professor Ndiangui, we have Dr. Theuri, we have Dr. Muchai, we have Wanyama. So we will start that, and Vida will lead us in that program, just calling it a circle of care. So if we have any issues that are women related, then Vida and I can comfortably, we have Wangoi here, that we can comfortably address those and take care of those. And then if we have young men who they have issues that we don't feel comfortable addressing, then we will send them to Pastor Ngetich, Professor Ndiangui, and all our great men who are in this forum. So out of every session, we're gonna make sure we come up with something. So Vida will share that information, we'll work on that, and then we'll we'll share that information, disseminate that information, and how you can access that. At this point in time, I want to open it for questions. Any questions from the audience? We have students, we have mentors. Open for questions.
Prof,
Please unmute yourself.
Prof,
Yes, yes.
Prof, let me just first of all say, when I listen to both Professor Ngetish and Fidel, I am so encouraged, not just because of being great people as they are, but the power to bring that greatness to others and see they adapting. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Vida. It's just so nice to listen to you. Let me just turn to Prof, to Sami Ngetish. You take me back to my friend Ibuga, the rich Ibuga. And that's important, that when there was the decay of Moros in Kafila, for those who don't know,
Yes.
that's when he came up with that. And we usually has it in the betrayal in the city, that the madness of the entire nation disturbs a solitary mind is not enough to say that the man is mad. I'm so glad you bring it up. Because quite often, I don't know how we ever got into this. Frida, when you talk about moving from California and getting to those, excuse me, some remote places in Alabama, where I go to that, I say, how did I get myself here? And then, of course, there's an America I expected, and now I have lived here 20 years, more than 20 years, and I don't know how we got to this. I don't want to be political. This is not my America. There's the madness of the nation. But the point is, I want to get to the scripture a little bit. There's always something good that comes out. Everything happens for the good. Romans 8:28. And for every student here and every professor here, the idea is look for the good in this. Okay, we have now been able to come together in this. We are able to meet so often and listen to Vidal, listen to each other. And so I am not alone. I'm not going through this alone in one corner of California or Florida or New York. We are going through this. There is help. Professor Otish may not be able to travel all over the country, but now she has been able to bring us all together here. We are all together. We can support one another. But there's something that I wanted to say before I ask my question to you guys. When you go to that international office, this is an experience I had recently. And I say the students call me and we talk and I tell them, go to the national office. Please be careful what you tell them. I'm talking about this very carefully. This student was so depressed, was in that situation of homelessness. There's no food, there's nothing. And then she explained her problem. She really needed help. But then went on to say, I feel like killing myself. Now, that crossed a line. Be careful because you are trying to look for solutions, but now they had to call for a student with a problem. And they don't know how far the story has gone. We are trying to calm it down because once they called for the powers that there's a student with a mental health who is nearly committing suicide, we need to take the international student back to Africa. That's another story. Be careful the language you give. You'd rather talk to your people and talk to us, but when you talk to the Mzungu like that, sometimes they take it in a different angle and you can get in trouble. And even us, sometimes you may tell me something which I'm about to report. But let's listen and let me ask Professor Ngetish, because you're a pastor in this way. When you see all the situation that is going on, give me something besides Zoom that you feel, not necessarily from the good book or anything, that we will overcome. To me, any situation that is bad will bring out something good. I'm a strong believer in that. What do you think, Professor Ngetish, Dr. Mr. Ngetish, that may come out of this? Not necessarily from the religious angle, but things, hang in there, my friends, things will happen better, like what Sami Ngetish will tell you. Thank you. You're mute. You're mute, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. One of the things that I wanted to say is that growing up in Africa, and having been raised in Africa, from the day you were born, the entire village gathered and came and sang. And at every step on rite of passage, they came back. And even when you are taking that plane to come here, they came back. There is something that we call the collective unconscious. What I wanted to say is we were never alone in Africa. And even when you are here, there are so many prayers. There are other people that, so knowing that I was raised up in a village, and even when I have come here, there's still powers, there are still vibes, there are still prayers. And I can be able to reach out and make a village out of here so that you are always equipped to be able to get a village wherever you go. Reach out knowing that you are not alone. And even when you are in Kenya, and even when you are here, there are people that are saying our daughter has gone to the US, to the land of the white man, and they are looking up to you. And so there are all these vibes and all these people are bragging about you in the village. And so that collective unconscious is a power that is lifting you up. Plus your own prayers together with that can be able to know that I am not alone. And not only that, but realize where we have come from. Some of us went to school very late. Some of us didn't even have shoes until you were in Form 1. But we've come here always late. Some students you're dealing with here had computers from when they were in elementary school. You're coming to see the computer for the first time and you're able to catch up with them. You may be working at night, doing so many hours, and you still go to class. Both of you are dosing. One is dosing because they were in a dance last week or last night, and you are dosing because you are at work, trying to make ends meet and still be able to help auntie and uncle, but you still are able to make an A at the end of it. So we have resiliency that we were born with. Resiliency that does not come from me alone, but come from all my ancestors and all the people that are behind me and the entire village. So go back and enhance that power and dip into that, knowing that you're always not alone, and you will know how to be able to make a village wherever you are. Even if there is no African around you, you can still be able to reach out to the people that are there and be able to pull that energy, those vibes, that prayer to be able to help you to go through. So know that you've come from far and you are actually part of something larger. Remember, I am because we are. We are, therefore I am. And so I'm not only belong to we and an entire clan. So that corporate living, not only between the village, but even also in moving all the way to the higher power. Because for us, we believed that it's no longer I, but all this. So I want you to be able to dip into that and be able to cultivate this resiliency and adaptability. That is the other thing, is adaptability as well. Dr. Ndiongui, that's what I will say for now.
That's right. Thank you. Can I, Prof, let me ask Fida a question. Fida.
Yes.
To change, we must change. What changes are you going to give the students here that they must now adapt to as we move on?
I think learning to be open-minded, but also remembering that being open-minded does not negate the fact that we forget where we come from, because where we come from, the way our parents raised us, the things that we know about our own personal culture is something that is special and unique about each of us. But so, you have to learn to adapt, you have to learn how to communicate, but also don't forget where we come from, how we communicate with our elders and how we socialize with our elders. So, and I think finding time to mingle with our elders also brings us back home and reminds us that community is important, because I do know the longer that, some of us stay here, depending on the generation that we came in, sometimes we think, oh, I got it all by myself. No, we don't. We need our elders to also guide us, but we also need our peers, the positive peers that can support us to take us in the right direction. So it's a balancing act. It does not happen overnight. It's a work in process daily. And you continually work on it, because when you change your work environment, you move from one state to another, moving once again, the culture in California is very different than the culture in Alabama. If I didn't know I was Black in California, I definitely knew I was Black in Alabama for the first time after living in this country for 3 years. And I had to come to terms with that myself, like, oh, okay, you know, because that's just the culture. And of course, I had to adjust to the South. So it's growth depending on where you live, and always ask for help. And these conversations don't have to be tough. They can just always be easygoing and a learning and growth mentality.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vida. I like what you mentioned, and thank you, Pastor Ngetich, is that connectedness of the community, because what we tend to see is we see a lot of young people, a lot of young students, they stay to themselves, and then we only hear about them when there's a problem. So again, young people there, you know, what you tell them, stay connected with your elders and with your peers and with your community. We always need each other in times of good, in times of bad, and just be a member of a community. So thank you so much, Pastor Ngetich, and thank you, Vida, again, and thank you for agreeing to facilitate that circle of care.
Can I just address something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I want to thank Dr. Ngui for the suggestion of the Nyumba Kumi. I think that this is what we need. So thanks, and congratulations for that. I also wanted to mention that you asked a question about Canada. How are Kenyan students doing in Canada? The study that I'm involved with is that Canada has some strengths and some of its own challenges as well. Of course, extreme temperatures in the very north sometimes can be quite a challenge. My daughter goes to school in Canada. And I remember one time when she took a picture during the winter and sent it to us, her eyelashes were frozen because, the moment you begin to breathe, then, the rising vapor is trapped by the eyelashes and the eyes are frozen and you can be able to see the white. And I was there for about 3 days, and it was actually, almost here it was, I think, minus 48 degrees Fahrenheit during that time. And it was a terrible thing. The 3 days that I spent there, I said, look, I don't want to be here, and I don't know whether my daughter should finish and just come home. So there are challenges that come with that. But one thing I liked a little bit about Canada when I compare the two is that their policies are very different. So there's been a little bit of an emphasis of multiculturalism in Canada that has really helped a lot. And I felt very much at home, of course, coming from Kenya to Canada, and we're talking about kilometers. I said, man, I am home, for once, I don't have to convert and say, okay, so how many miles is that? And then a lot of other things. I didn't find a lot of bragging and a lot of, they have their own issues with racism especially, but the biggest problem is more with the indigenous First Nations and all that. But there is a lot of openness that is there, and there are some differences of things. So I found that it's a little bit different, and even though the economy is changing now, but even though the economy was not as strong, but I think there was, for example, my daughter is, has insurance here in the US, but once she was enrolled in that school, she got universal insurance right there in Canada. So immediately you become a student, the government takes over all your medical, medical whatever. So that is one thing that was really, really helpful. And then one thing also is that after 2 years, if you have some certain areas, particularly in engineering or even electrical, they have a lot of short courses that you can be able to do in entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship, but where you are actually doing internships. And after that, after 2 years of graduating, then they can be able to give you Canadian citizenship. So there were some things that I found very useful. Of course, the economy is changing a little bit with this COVID, and a lot of things are changing as a result of that. But I found that there was some help. And we've also encouraged to be able, many of our Kenyans and other Africans to be able to work together when they are there. So those are some of the things that I found that were very helpful in Canada. And then there is also another question from Juma Moffat. He said, what is your advice to our friends who have a desire to be able to come to the US in such a current prevailing conditions? I believe that it is important for us to be able to educate people in Kenya as well, to say that it is important to try your luck. It is important to be able to try and apply for scholarships, apply for this and that, and provide important information. We need people who are culture brokers, who provide information to say, yes, it is good to try. It is good to take risks, but it is important to be able to plan before you come. And if they still want to come, at least provide them the reality of what is going on here. Because when they come here and they hit that, then they realize somebody had told me it will take them easier time and shorter time than when you are hitting a glass ceiling that you don't know what is going on. Because you remember, when they did this study where there was this fish that was roaming the pond and then they put a glass and it was hitting it, there was food on the other side and it was hitting it and hitting it, trying to get the food until it began to bleed, but it couldn't figure out what they are hitting because they can't be able to get the food. They are seeing it, but they don't understand what is going on. And then of course, finally, after they had bleed so many times, they moved the glass, they put the food there, and the moment they see the food, they ran away to the farthest corner because they didn't figure out what was going on. So when you give them the true information and hope at the same time, then when they come and they hear it here, they will be able to understand what you have told them. But if you don't tell them the truth and still give them hope, then it will take them a long time to figure out what is going on, because they will be blaming themselves and not realizing these are the forces that are working, and therefore they need resources that we could be able to suggest and point them to the right direction. So I think it is important to provide that information.
Dr. Ratich, just one more last thing. So we are living through a stressful time with COVID, and as you all are aware, the mental health stress is enormous, especially on young people. There are resources in different states. Remember that when you do have a mental health issue, it is HIPAA. What you share with a counselor is protected. So yeah, sharing it with your international student might cost you a flight home, but there are services within your cities that will provide services to you on a scale. So if you don't have insurance or you don't have mental health insurance, it'll be on a sliding scale fee, or it could be free. So knowing what resources you have within your school, within your community is very important. We want you guys to stay safe. We want your mental health to be where it needs to be so you can complete your school. And don't be embarrassed about needing help. We all need help sometimes, and that's just my last statement.
That is true. No, it doesn't have to be a last statement. You can share. Let's hear more. Let's hear from a student. I know we have several students in the group. Don't feel shy. Please say something. We're here for you.
Hello, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you a lot. I'm Gilbert from Oklahoma State University. Sorry, I was to host the meeting, but I had a class today, so I hope you forgive me for that. I want to thank everyone who availed himself today for this meeting, both the faculty and the students who are able to come here today. I know it's hard. We are caught up with time, and sometimes it's hard for us to marshal time and be here, but I want to appreciate each and everyone who made it today. Thank you, Professor Cherono and Moffat, for stepping in. I appreciate the panelists for the good work. I was following from the periphery, but now I'm available. I want to appreciate that this time, seriously, students are going through several challenges. We'll appreciate that, and we pray and ask the faculty members who are with us, kindly let us reach out to, let's not wait for some of those students to reach us for help. If you know one, I have one of the mentors who ensures he reaches out to me, and I have that burden, like, if he's doing it, why can't I get time and call? Because our culture, last time I shared and said, in our culture at home, there is that gap between your professor, the professor and the student all the time. And my cue is just, we have just been here not even for more than 2 years. That culture is still within us. We have not broken the barrier between your lecturer and the student for us to mingle friendly. And then people migrating from Africa, where we are a collectivist society, to America, where life starts and stops with you. It's an individualistic society. So people might have adapted to American style of life as different to what we are used to in Africa. So most students tend to shy off from faculty members. People will come to seek for help when they are deep in a problem, when they don't have an option, and they'll be pushed. They'll not push themselves. People will push them like, man, you need to reach out to people to help you. You need to reach out to people to help you. That's the time they'll come out, and it will be late. So we don't want to say it's late. Let us come out and help each other. Let us come out and reach out for help. Students who are here, kindly reach out to other students who are outside here. I know it's a culture. I don't know what's the problem with most of us students when we come here. We tend to be more busy. And for me, I say sometimes that's a fallacy. Because if you can find time to do everything, at least, even if it's not 1 or 2 or 3 meetings, sacrifice to join. Be where your brothers and sisters are, so that whenever you're in a problem, they'll be able to come and fight with you. They'll be able to identify because they see you. When they don't see you like once or twice, they'll ask, where is this person? But whenever you want to sit in the periphery and watch from behind, because you don't want to be identified, you don't want to be seen, it will be so hard for you to be noticed. It will be so hard for someone to notice that you are here, you need help, you need direction. So let us try to break the barrier as students. Let us not fear reaching out to our mentors. They are there, they are ready to help. From our mentors now, we want to ask, kindly, this is a concern I've gotten from students. When we are here in this KESID meeting, guys, commit to respond. But when we reach people individually, people don't respond. We will call, people will not respond. We'll do mails, people will not respond. You see that one, it makes me doubt, am I making a mistake contacting this person? Because not all of us have ill intention. Some of us seriously need help. But when I try reaching you, when I try calling and you don't respond, I give up and say, okay, they say in America, life is about you. Let me manage it alone. Because you can imagine moving from home where you have brothers and sisters and parents, moving to America where you have yourself to make decision, to provide direction in your life, more so during this COVID time, where like even meeting other students is a problem. For me, in this semester, I've met my advisor once in person, and we were like 15 feet apart because he was like, no. The university does not like allow us the university recommends you observe that social distance. So you can imagine you are on your own. You are doing your online classes from your house. You don't have any friend around. So you don't have even anyone to talk to. So when you reach out, you also don't have anyone to respond to. Even if it will be late, try reach out, because sometimes someone reaches out on you when they are desperate and when they don't have anything to do. That's why sometimes it's mental. And someone is like, man, I don't have anyone to talk to. They don't want to report back at home that you are suffering, because people at home will panic. So you are on your own managing stress here. You don't know what to do. You don't have someone to contact. Man, it becomes a problem. So for our mentors, sometimes I know we are busy, but at times you get a missed call, you get an email, just try and respond. But for those who have done it, we appreciate. I speak on behalf of those who are around me. Thank you, guys.
Wow. I'm gonna let the mentors respond to that. Thank you so much.
I'll be among the first ones to pick up the challenge.
Yes.
Thank you, Gilbert. I will say I feel you because I started out as an international student. So when I say I feel I know what you're talking about, I really do know.
Where you're at now.
Yeah. Also, I benefited from what you're talking about. When I first came, there were only 15 Kenyans in 2002 in Cedar Falls, Iowa. And it was in 2002, I am a Kikuyu, and the population that was there was Kalenjin. It was bad in 2002.
Wow.
Back home in Kenya. But the Kenyans, we international students have nothing, but we had each other. They held my hand. I was a Kenyan. And even up to today, they are still my support system. So what we have been saying here about nyumba kumines and getting hold of each other, I'm also saying this now and somebody who trains, who is a counselor educator, who trains mental health counselors. Professor Gerono, we still call it mental health. So yeah, Sami, you know that it's documented in the Western world and in America. Statistics show most mental health is in America. And it is because of relatedness and connectedness. So human connectedness. Going back to what Gilbert you have said, this one of, we kept on talking about telling students, reach out, reach out, reach out, international students. Sometimes you can be in such a black hole that somebody has to reach in there for you. Easy? No, on either side, either the international student or even the person reaching out to them. It is work, and it is work. So sometimes you will reach out to the student, they won't even pick up your phone. Are you going to stop? No, please don't. Continue with the hard work, because even if they don't respond, they know somebody cares. They see that missed call. They see that email. Even if they don't respond, they will do that. And then the other thing, you talked about Sami, not just reaching out, because there is emotional, there is also psychological, those problems. Sometimes, Sami, you said you went back to school so that you can also educate. You went the curriculum way and education. I also realized that as just being a counselor and in college and in lower classes, that some of these and a lot of our international student problems are caused by lack of resources. Everybody here has mentioned that, all those resources that we lack. So I went to school, I minored in social work. This has made it possible for me to know what is available for our international students. And people have taken up that challenge. Professor Gerono, you started this foundation. Dr. Diangui, in Florida, you have your network, which raises funding for international students. So, because sometimes, no matter how much I do talk therapy with an international student, when they are struggling with tuition, they need resources, they need something hard. They also struggle with immigration issues. We know that. So no matter how much I talk, the threat of losing their status, especially now, still remains. So we get organizations on how do we help with this? How are we proactive before we have to be worried, like Dr. Diangui is talking about right now, of somebody they're worrying about what may happen to them. So yes, I'm glad, Gilbert, you brought the white elephant in the living room that we are not addressing. Yes, let's not put all the burden on the students who are already burdened, our students, and we've gone through this journey and we know how it is. So not wait on them to reach out to us, also to be proactive and getting to a point where we have a foundation like this. We have what Dr. Diangui is doing in Florida, and we keep the ball rolling and pulling all those other professors that are Kenyan professors that are in the US, and we continue holding our babies and not letting go and not reacting when one of them loses their life. And it's real. We know that. I'll stop there with my mini words.
Professor Jelano.
Yes.
I can't help it. Gilbert, thank you so much for just talking it out. Dr. Agui, I'm just so proud. And I love hearing you because people, talking is very easy. And we can all talk very nicely here. And we can talk. But when we leave here, oh, we were just in another Zoom meeting. This is not a joke, particularly when we fight some young people dying, others homeless, others turning to drugs or anything else. It's serious business. We need action, both sides. Young people, this is not a joke to say leash out. Please leash out. Open up. Dr. Agui is there. In fact, let me talk, if you allow me. Gilbert, I saw in the chat you talking about Dr. Wanyama, and I'm glad he is still reaching out. And I know he is here. I don't see him. But I like to say, Dr. Wanyama, I remember, and I'm sorry I'm gonna keep on embarrassing you here. More than 20 years ago, my wife and the mother girls came from Kenya. They don't know, they don't even have, they are not even thought about an apartment, about anywhere to stay. Now they have arrived at the registration office. It is already after 5 o'clock, the offices are closed. They don't even know where to go. Some bushes in Texas there. And then Dr. Wanyama was passing by, and so these girls sitting here, and they look like Kenyans. And she talks about it a lot. Her first arrival in Kenya had something to do with Wanyama, because he's the one who told them, at least you can go to this motel. They don't even know what a motel is at the time. You've just come from Kenya. Or took them somewhere, and from there, told them what to do. I'm so glad to see Gilbert, that he is still reaching out. And that is what that example of Dr. Wanyama. We can say life is busy, but if you prioritize anything, you have enough time. I can tell you, I'm teaching, I'm doing real estate, I'm president of Africa Network, I'm the chairman of the Mayors Diversity Committee, but I have time for my children, because that is a priority to my life. And I know Dr. Wanyama is a very busy man. When I see Gilbert commenting that way, I'm so proud he's still doing it. I know Dr. Mushaish, I know Dr. Agui. We are there for you, but let's connect each other and do the action, not just talking. Gerono, we are behind you. And I love working with you because you are a person of action, not just talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to give it quick to a student. Adults who are here, please, let's make a commitment to do that. The reason really why I went out of my way to really make sure we get a 501c3 is so that we can really go for funding. If there's any grant writer right there, I really like the idea of having the circle of care, Nyumba Kumi. And what Gilbert said is very important, is that the students will not come. They will wait until it's so bad. So how can we as adults create that circle of care where we have the adults, but we also have the peer mentors like Gilbert on the ground, reaching out to their peers. So any ideas, any grant writing, I am so open to that. Let's get together. Let's really do this. Let's support our students. So Dr. Wangui, all the elders who are leaders who are here, professors here, if you come across any grants, let's talk about this. Let's look for ways to support our students. Okay. Students, anybody wants to say anything? Any other comments? I think what I'm hearing was that next time we'll start at 9 because a lot of the students were in class. So I've actually received that feedback, is instead of starting at 8, we'll start at 9 so that we can give enough time for students to get out of class.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
This is Stanley here in Maryland. I just wanted to thank all panelists and the guests. That was a good work, and I don't have much to say. I just wanted to reckon what Gilbert was saying. Let's commit to helping others, we know we have so many unfortunate people in our societies. So let's be helpful. And thank you so much again. I don't have much to say for today.
That's all right. That's good.
Dr. Rotich, this is for the students. Would it be helpful if, and this is just a thought, would it be helpful if you all saw our profiles, like what we do? If you're headed somewhere, it doesn't mean that you have to stick with the same mentor for a long time, but like, for example, today I'm connecting again with Wangui. She's in social work, I'm in social work, so I'm going to reach out to her, you know. So would it be helpful if you knew what we did and our trajectory, maybe a little brief bio, so that it can help, so we need to connect you in the right direction? Just a thought.
I will add to what Vida has said. Thank you. Can we also put us as professors, our profile, so that students also know what are we in?
Sure.
Yeah.
What you can do is I put the number there. If you can email me that information, I put my number and you'll have my number. Email me that information. Actually, our students are amazing. We have a board. We can actually put that profile and we can put it on our website. We can also post it on the link. Right now, we have actually 2 WhatsApp groups. One WhatsApp group filled, and we have a Telegram group, and we have 2 WhatsApp groups. So please share that information, share your profiles and your expertise, and I'll be more than glad to post it. Actually, we can do a flyer. We can do a flyer for mentors.
Okay, that would be helpful. Then we can just fill it out, and then those of us who can be mentors, and then that we can be matched per se, and maybe that would be more effective. For those of you who are not sure what mentor to pick, it can be a little bit intimidating with all these professors here, you know, so like, how do I pick a mentor? But maybe we can do some matching just to start off and make the students feel comfortable.
Yeah, but Vida, I'm a strong believer in everybody doing something.
Yes.
Students, please, we're just not talking. These people are available. Just say you need a mentor. So Vida and the general teacher and everybody else will match you. Seek for help. Say I need, because it will be so bad for me to call somebody and say, Gilbert, I need to help you. Then Gilbert tells me, what made you think I needed help? No. Reach out and you'll get the help. You know, Senior Gilbert, it's two-way process, my brother. You know, say I need help, then I'll help you. Or if I can, or if I cannot, I can tell you Dr. Wanyama, he might help you or somebody else. You know, it's a two-way process. And then you can be mine. Start it with reaching out to Vida and General Teach. We're good, we're available.
What they've been doing is they've been reaching out to me and I just push them, you know, I send them if they have any. Yes, go ahead.
And I think what I wanted to say, I wanted to say, especially when that number that you put there, it's good for each one of us to be able to save it. Yes. Because there are times when you don't even have the energy to talk to anybody, you don't feel like doing anything, but if you can be able to see it and just push, even if you just say help and just send it out, then because you may not have time to say, how do I start it, what do I do? But if you just write a word, and in fact, if you can just say, even just add that and just say help, and then put that number. And then once you feel like, you know, I need help at this point, just send that and it goes as help. Then, you know, Cherono will know who to be able to find. Because there are times when it's even difficult to speak or even to take that phone. But if you know it's going to be a push of a button, you will be able to do it.
Right. I would also say that to the students, it may appear, and that's just an appearance, that we are aloof and we are not reachable. But that is just an appearance on your part. I would suggest that just get the courage to reach out to us. And that's why we joined this forum, because we care about your well-being. And if you just, especially if you look at the mentors that are here, pick a name and reach out to them and connect with them one way or the other. Introduce yourself, and don't be afraid. Like Pastor Ngetich said, some of us may have been here more than 2 seasons, and we may have adapted a little bit to the individualistic culture here, and we may look like we're aloof, but we're not really aloof. Okay, so make an effort, be courageous, just on a friendly note. Just let us know that you're there, and we'll connect with you. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Theory, I think sometimes maybe that is the only little skin you put there to protect yourself, but underneath that skin, you're still African. So
Absolutely.
we did it for the sake of the climate and the whatever, but we've given you the, you know, the where the code is. You remember the Luanda Magere? We told you where the power is. So once you know where the power is, just go below the skin and it will still be African.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Even if it's just to come home, if you're close in North Carolina, come and eat ugali with us, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just that, with the socialization is also good. You feel connected that way, you stay connected.
Professor Gerona, can I say something real quick?
Good to see you. Thank you, Dr.
Good to
Terry.
see you.
Thank you, Musi. This is a powerhouse lady all the way from
Wow, I like that. I'll start by saying when I read your text on the other forum, I read 8 p.m. So obviously I'm thinking Central, I'm in Texas, folks.
Okay.
So, and then I have to fix dinner for the kids and all that. But anyway, I'm glad I joined. Listen, I'm not a professor. It's amazing that at least we have students on this call. For what I have missed, please share the recording, but this is what I want to say. Let's allow me these 2 points. Number one, what they have shared. When I joined this, they're talking about mentorship. What they have shared, it is pivotal for your academic or career progression, development in this country. When I came to this country, I had no clue what the heck a mentor is. Nobody reached out. We didn't have what we have today. Right? So get on this and be selfish, like you want it. A mentor is somebody who is where you want to go. So reach out, and these are your people. Some of us, we work for global institutions. We mentor other kids who are of a different skin, different accent, different, like diversity of culture, perspective, skill, everything. And it is part of my job to mentor. And here are people from my country. Kenya. Were you guys talking Kiswahili here? Maybe not. Okay, I'll keep it English. But I'm just saying.
That's okay.
That's okay. And my Swahili is just a hot mess. So anyway, what's a tunyonge? Meaning Kisi, by the way, you see Kiari, I'm married to Kikuyu. Let me keep it professional. Professor John, I'm sorry. But I will say this. The second thing I would say, besides mentorship, there's also sponsorship. A mentor is one who knows your weaknesses, your strengths, who will coach you, who will, like basketball. You see those coaches? They yell at the whatever, or football. So you can't say menita football. Yes. But anyway, they yell at the players because they know how good they are and how dare you make that mistake. Yes. So they see your strengths and weaknesses. A sponsor is like a scout. They see the good. They see the expertise. They put their credibility on the line because they speak on your behalf in closed doors, in a boardroom, and they say, hey, which student can we give that? They're the ones who say, Kanyetha Kelvin, he's so good in XYZ. And because of their credibility, because of their credentials, because of their name is Professor Peter Theory or Professor Gerono Retich, they take their word instead of your info. So grasp on this. And the last thing I will say is, I have a 16-year-old. He's in 11th grade, Form 3. I have shoved mentors in his face, and he's a boy. He's not Ajashika Hajanita. So me, I'm sowing seed to what Professor Gerono is doing, so that one of you will one day reach out to him. So grasp, this is your time. Meskia, don't even be embarrassed. Afadhali you call me 10 times. But I'm like, what's an impigesima? What's up? Unashika. And as opposed to you're silent. Don't think you're doing as a favor. This is for you. Let it be that mtoto amenichosha, wacha nimsaidie jamani, hata ni nini tena. And I commend Professor Gerono for all the work she's done, even from the accounting to everything this woman has done. My goodness. Whew! God bless you, my dear. So I'm not a professor. In whichever way I can devote some of my time or my effort or my expertise, I am more than happy. Y'all, just reach for beyond the stars. You're in the land of the living, home of the brave. Don't get caught up in hizi maneno za election na ujinga imeendelea hapa, but just you stay focused. Stay focused. All right, I'll pause. I think we're over time. I'm sorry, but thank you.
Listen, I call you Dr. Musi Kiaria. Musi is an amazing. Thank you so much, Musi. Musi, I can't even begin to introduce, but I want you to Google her name, Musi Kiaria. She's actually, I went to a conference this week on African Academic Institution, and she was one of the presenters. She was one of the moderators. She runs an international mentoring organization. So Musi, I am volunteering you to help us with pairing the mentorship. So now, Musi, you have nowhere to go. You're here to help us with mentoring. And like Musi said, you see me at this level, I have 3 mentors. I have 3 mentors that I call them. I have a dean, I have a provost, and I have a chancellor. I even have a mentor all the way in Nigeria. And I have sponsors. I tell them, please message the market that are here. So that is what your sponsors will do. They message the market that you're here. So at this level, I have mentors. And I call them, I schedule, because of Corona, I have my mentors. We meet once a month. We say, hey, they check on me to say, hey, what's going on? I have my mentor who's in Rhode Island. He's a dean. I need to get back to him. I'm in trouble because I've not reached out to him for almost a month. So yes, we all need mentors and we all need one another. Thank you, Musi, and we'll be reaching out to you. And thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. Yes, that's my brother, y'all. That's my big brother. Yes,
hey guys, how are you? Sorry, I'm coming in late here. I really, this is a really good topic, and the corporate world. I'm not like most of you folks, but one of the things they encourage is, so that's the thing which we in the corporate world do, is the first thing you come in is a new hire. We try to pair the new hires with at least 2 mentors. One as a sponsor.
Tell them where you work first before you get into the.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. I work for IBM. Right now, I'm based in Poughkeepsie, New York. I've been with IBM for over 16 years. I'm a design engineer. I design the processors which are in the Xbox 360, all the way to Nintendo Wii. Right now, I'm working on the mainframes, the ones you see everywhere when you go to the airports and the banks. And I'm also working on right now, I'm working on artificial intelligence stuff with automation of all these mainframes. Yeah, that's what I do. So the topic here is about mentors and sponsors. It's I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, there's no excuse not to have 2 of them. And I should say, students, you need to figure out who you think is your sponsor, and the other one is your mentor. I think the lady who was here before me was she basically talked about the difference between the 2. So if you're a student, you're hurting yourself for not getting a mentor. At the moment, I have 2 I mentor 2 students in high school here, which I've had for the last 3 years, going to the 4th year now. They're graduating this coming here. I've been with them since they were freshmen in high school. And again, this is something my company does, is basically they push us to help the students, especially students of color. And I think what Professor Gerono is doing here, I think this is a good way for us to basically give back to our community of folks, our students, the people who've come from where we're from. So I can't agree more. Students, again, If you want to reach out to me, I'm here. My profile will be with Professor Gerono here, and then feel free to reach out to me whenever you need any help. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, my brother. That's my brother that I follow right there. We fought, we've had a lot of things together, and it's been fun, and I love him to death. Okay. Yes.
If I could have a minute, maybe just say one thing. Hey, Kennedy, great to see you again, my friend. Buona cheriot. He left.
Did he leave? No, he's muted.
He's muted.
Mute.
Anyhow, my name is Jesse Muchai, and this topic is dear and close to my heart. I work for Cummins. I'm based in Indianapolis. I'm a mechanical engineer. I work on diesel engines and currently working on electric trucks and buses, especially those that are going to California, designing and ensuring that our customers will have those by the time the emissions are ruled out and we have clean world. Here is my challenge to the students. We've talked a lot as mentors to you. I hope you're not overwhelmed. And I would like you to own this. It's a two-way path. And other people have said the same. It's a two-way path. And I would like to challenge each one of you on this call. Number one, do not be intimidated. Number two, I used to play tennis, and my coach always told me, keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball, right? Manage your vision, manage your purpose. Why did you come here? Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there is Corona. Yes, there are all these other things crumpling around you, coming like they are gonna finish you. But keep your eyes on the ball. Stay focused. I cannot even fathom or even imagine if I had this opportunity when I was a student. I cannot. And I've been here 3 seasons or 4 seasons, as somebody said earlier. I cannot. So please, I beg you, as students in this forum, do not squander this opportunity. Reach out to the people who are here volunteering for your sake, and it will make a difference in your life and in generations to come. Do not waste this opportunity, I beg you, please. And how do I challenge you on this? Next time we have a call, Professor Rotich, I would like to see a list of mentors and mentees. Next time, is it did you say monthly?
Yes.
So next month, I would like to see a list of mentors and mentees. And you, the students, are going to send Dr. Rotich your information and your request. Then, like this, she said, she'll match you up. But you gotta take that first step of owning your vision, your purpose, and adapting to differences. You will go somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muchai. For those of you who do not know, Dr. Muchai is our Chief Financial Officer for KESID. I don't keep any money. I don't know what is there, but Dr. Muchai keeps every penny. He was the one who was in charge of vetting all the applicants. So if you got funding, he was in charge of everything. So we are in good books. If you know anybody who wants to donate, Dr. Muchai will take good care of our money and the rest of the board members. My sister Musiki area will help me with the mentors and mentees. So now we're in business. Students, yeah, go ahead. Yes, anybody else?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, mine was personally just to, because I got in late because of class, you know, my class was ending 9 p.m. Eastern time. So that's like 8 p.m. Central time. So, but so far, I mean, I like especially when it comes to mentors, because sometimes as, you know, like even, you know, because I'm starting out here, I mean, a bit of background, I'm a community college student and this is my second semester. So, you know, looking ahead here, like I need to kind of know how to do some things. Yeah. So talking about mentors, it really, it opens your eyes. Like, yeah, I could use a bit of guidance in 2 areas. Yeah. And even some areas I probably don't know. Yeah. So, so yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting to be part of such a conversation. Yeah. And also, taking information. I'm an information technology student here, major. So, you know, uh, like I don't know, is Doctor or Dr. Kennedy, maybe Kennedy, like he mentioned some very interesting stuff. I'm like, that's from technology point of view, like that is very interesting. Yeah. So, it's the mentoring part is something to look forward to. Yeah, for even in any position, I guess. Like Dr. Jerome said, even as far as she's made it to, I guess mentoring is very important. So, looking forward to it. Yeah, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, may I add something, Dr. Sharona?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm a little bit more concerned about the process now, and the number of people, Dr. Mushai and Dr. Sheriwat. I think Jeron Rotish knows all of us, knows what we do, knows our qualities, all the mentors I'm talking about.
Yes.
If you just say, I would like a mentor, she will probably tell you who the best mentor for you is. I think she is in a better position than anybody else, because some of us, you don't know, for example, if you are, like Dr. Mushai mentioned, he's in a company that may help. Dr. Esheliot, Wago is in this process. Dr. Anyama, every one of us are in different areas. Musikali is in different areas. Gerono knows all of us.
True.
And again, I don't want to be overwhelmed by 10 students when I can only help 1 or 2. I want you to make sure that I have enough time. Your balance. I mean, I know you can say, oh, I want Mushai because I want Mushai, and he gets 20 people. You will not say no, but not have the time. So to make it easier, if you all said our names, the students said the names, I want to be a mentor, Geron or teach, will reach out and balance the numbers and match you correctly. I think an arranged marriage sometimes works very well.
Okay, I like that. And you're right, I know all the students, and so just email me and I'll do my best. I think most of you have been, just email me and I'll make sure, I think I know all of you, I have all your contacts. And Kevin, for those of you who don't know Kelvin Kangeta, he's our baby. We call him our KESID baby. And what we loved, and what I really loved with Kevin is he came in as a community college student, and his first semester he joined this KESID. That is amazing. He's actually one of our student leaders representing the community college students. We have Moffat, we have Gilbert, we have Stanley, we have Anne, we have Peggy. So we have a group of students and we're still building. But I really appreciate you, Kevin, because you just stepped up, and I'm telling you, your path is, it's amazing. You've got you have great mentors. We're here to help you through. We're here to support you, and you started right on time. So shoot me an email and we'll take care of that. Any other comments?
Yes, Professor, this is Ben.
Yes, Ben Kurgat, yes.
Yes. I'm glad. Thanks for sending us the link, by the way. I'm not in academia. I once was, but so I can relate to everything that you've all talked about. And I'm really, really grateful that you thought about this. And I'm glad that a lot of our professors are embracing this, and the need is there. I guess it's it came at the right time. When I was in college, never had anything close to this, and I really needed it. Talking about that in some disconnects, with professors who could not relate to what I was trying to do, such things. So when we have professors who've been through the system and who really understand our background and what we're trying to do, it makes a big difference. And I just wanted to come on and say, yeah, you have my support. I know I will be marketing your program because I know I have a vast network of students that I've supported to come here, and most of them actually are student athletes. and they can really benefit from a program like this. So right now I'm mentoring several of them. In fact, this weekend I got a PhD student who who did sports science, but is interested on the business side of it. So it's also business. So I took him on as to mentor him because I'm in sports business.
Okay.
I am a certified World Athletics athlete representative. So it was right on. He's a PhD student as well. And our athletes, whether they're here or away, need people like those who understand the system over there. And I've also gone up the ladder in academia and also in the business world. So yes, that is great. I'm glad. I'll be signing on.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I'll be glad doing that thing, looking for support. Yes, I'll be glad to be part of it. So thanks again. Kudos to the professors and business people who are in here. Thanks for coming together. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Mr. Kurgat is one of our businessmen in North Carolina. He's one of our leaders, and he works predominantly with student athletes. So we will be sending student athletes your way. We have Stanley, we have Geoffrey. We have a good number of them here. All right, let's wind up. It's almost 10 p.m. Any final comments? I would like to hear from Kelly. Kelly, are you still here? Did Kelly leave? Kelly Shege. I think you left.
Professor, real quick, are the students all from one school or one state?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
All over the state, all over.
And you have the database for the KESID students?
Yes.
Okay.
We have numbers. We're still building the database. Like I said, it's been so we're building the database now. We have all the numbers. Like I said, we have 2 WhatsApp groups. They have my number. They can reach me. So we'll start doing that.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'll work with you so we can get that together.
Oh my God, delay. Okay, sorry.
I love you, my dear. You are the best in this. So. Any final thoughts so we can close? Again, I think our outcome from this is we're gonna make sure we're gonna commit as mentors and mentees. Please request your mentor. We're also going to start a circle of care group, Nyumba Kumi. And we have a group for the men and a group for the women. You know, if you have Vida will be leading, Vida and Wangoi will be leading the women's group or the young, and then the men's group, we have Pastor Ngetich and Dr. Ndiangui, Dr. Teuri, Dr. Muchai. You have plenty, so you are in good hands.
Welcome.
You guys go and have your men talk and talk your stuff and we'll be good.
We'll talk about you guys, girls.
Not arranged marriages. I know you talked about arranged marriages, but don't talk about that one.
It actually worked. I don't think these young men know how to. Anyway, let me do that.
Dr. Diangui.
Yes, Dr. Ujai.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
I'm just having my last word, Dr.
Actually, Dr. Ndiangui, our next speaker is the president of Bridgewater University, so we'd like to bring him on in November.
Oh, that's beautiful. Professor Dana Valia.
Yes, we'd like to bring Dana Valia in November. He's amazing. He'll just, he's on our board and he's a president. I'll let you talk more about him. Just give us a little bit.
Yes, he's
so I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So I know we didn't have, I'm sure you had an agenda for today, but going forward, and I had just heard you say there will be a speaker in the next series, but could we possibly, or you think about some critical agendas and we start looking for people with influence and affluence within our organizations who could come and discuss a topic, idea like what Musi talked about, sponsors and mentors, and I think there's another third one, I don't know. But I think something focused 30, 40 minutes from a professional, because I would really like to see all these students come up the ladder and mushroom, right? And start replacing some of us who are almost retiring. Right? Just a thought.
No, actually, that is the idea because Dr. Michai, the students actually met and they decided on today I think the only thing is we need to go back and they came up with the topic. So yes, we have a WhatsApp group for the student leaders, and they're gonna go back and we may just need to change the time because I think we realized 8 p.m. Eastern time is too early, maybe too early for our students. So we'll go back to the group with the students. But those are the two people. Yes, our next. So we'll get back to them. They talked about resume, so they've come up with some ideas, and I'm also
wonderful.
getting some. I'm getting ideas from students and actually volunteers who want to speak on different topics.
Wonderful.
And then like the group that we had today is, they're also Vida and Pastor Ngetich, they're also members of KESID because they're PhD students. So that is beautiful that we have our own mentors. And if you notice today, Gilbert was supposed to moderate. So I want to step back, but because he had a class that with this hybrid where they schedule classes here and there. So my role is to step back and actually let them lead, and we want to be the mentors. And I've told them that is, I'm not going to be leading. They will take over and facilitate and build their leadership skills.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Dr. Sharon, I think another issue is important. I think the mentors need to get together because another issue keeps on coming up on my phone is did we finish up with the financial support? Because there's still some students who need that. So I said there may be a phase 2. But it has not been set up. I think that will come up down the road. The mentors need to have a meeting very soon. That question of Dr. Mushai. And I would like to see Musikiali there. She speaks very well too, okay?
So actually, Musikiali is going to train our mentors. So we'll get together a group of mentors and let Musi train.
Who do I send the invoice? Who do I send the invoice for volunteering me?
Dr. Ndiangui.
No, teach. You know where to go, Kelly.
And hapa na Dr. Peter Ndiangui.
Wachana huyo ni mtu
nimeolewa kwenu. Nimeolewa kwenu. Mimi nataka check.
Okay.
Ni mtu wa village tu, hakuna kitu.
Hakuna cha bure.
All right.
Okay. Oh, no. Wait. Tunamaliza na maombi. Any students wants to say a comment, say something before we close? Anybody?
I want to say some greetings from Delaware. My name is Jasfrey. I used to be in Youngstown State University, but right now I'm on OPT and I got the H-1B visa.
Wonderful.
So this is a very nice platform and I feel like it's so great. My wife is a student in University of Delaware. She's doing cancer research, PhD program. And we are so excited to be in this program too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we look forward to hearing more of you. I hope you're in the KESID WhatsApp group. Yes.
Dr. Latish, I know this is unusual, but I want to pray.
Good. Amen. No, that's not unusual. Everybody prays. Okay. I just didn't want to close the student out. Any student wants to say a comment before we head out, before we finish?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to greet all of you. I just came in. I'm late, but I just want to say hi. I'm Januarius. I'm from University of Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, though I was late. Next time, I'll keep on time. Thank you so much. May you all have a blessed night. See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
John,
yes.
Sorry, I know you prayed, Dr. Ndiangui. Real quick, did all the students introduce themselves on the call when you all started?
No,
not many were here at the
okay,
beginning.
y'all need to do that next time.
Yeah.
Kimaru took a huge step of whatever. That's leadership right there.
That's true.
Just anyway, you need.
Yeah, because I don't think we have a lot of them. If they can just do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Let me start. I'm Gilbert Makomere from Oklahoma State University. I'm doing my master's. This is my second year, Human Development and Family Science.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Very good. I went to university, to Oklahoma. I was right next to you. I was in the city of Oklahoma. I did my master's there. Oh, wow. I know exactly where you are, Gilbert.
Okay. January. Okay. Yes, Kevin, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Kangeda Kelvin. I'm a Bergen Community College student studying information technology in New Jersey. Originally from Kabete, Lower Kabete.
Thank you, thank you. Next, keep going, let's
Uh,
keep rolling.
I'm Stanley Melly from Maryland. I'm a master's student doing agricultural economics. Yeah, and I'm from Eldoret.
Welcome.
Yep, thank you.
My name is Nancy Rotich. I'm in Miami University in Ohio. I'm taking chemistry, PhD student, first year PhD student.
Karibu, Nancy. Next, we have more students now. Januarius, you didn't tell us what you were doing.
Okay, once more, I can introduce myself. I'm Januarius, undergraduate student, University of Wisconsin, Parkside. I'm doing major computer science. I'm from Eldoret, Kenya.
Okay, very good. Farida, I'm just gonna call your name now. Farida.
My name is Farida Keter and I'm from Nakuru. I am a graduate student, master's student in Bowie State University, Maryland.
Wonderful, wonderful. Chebeti, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm not saying it right.
Hi everyone, I'm Audrey Chebet. I'm a PhD student at Louisville. I'm from Eldoret.
What are you studying?
Chemistry.
Wow, we have a lot of chemists in the house. This corona itaisha bas.
Yes.
Fairview, Nebraska, or in another state?
We have iPhone now. What do iPhone waongea tu? Because we have Galaxy. Please introduce yourself just so that we can finish. We just want to know you so we can, you know.
As they look to introduce, is there anybody who can tutor my son physics and calculus? Can they accept payments? We can pay. But they can't accept payments.
How much are you paying?
On my next door app, somebody says $25 an hour. But I know. So tell me, whoever is able to, please, I need my son to be tutored, physics and calculus. I'm not good in those.
Is he in high school?
Yeah, high school, Form 3, 11th grade.
Form 3.
Nimuite. Yeah, anyway, no, we'll talk offline. Please, I'm serious.
I'm serious. Send me a number if you're interested and I'll send it over
Please,
to
yeah.
Somebody just got a job. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. International students get a job, take that.
Hey, let me just use a teaching moment here. Somebody spoke up, right? They came in late. They announced themselves just before we closed, and now they're almost having a job.
Correct.
See?
Way to go.
I won't say more than that, but I hope the other students will take a cue.
Yeah.
You are here not by chance. Don't squander the opportunity.
Amen. Yeah.
We have so many students who have not said anything. There's Sheila, there's Sina, there's Joel, there's Galaxy, there's iPhone.
Hi. Yeah, it's Sheila here. I'm sorry, I was getting my baby ready for bed. My name is Sheila Sang. I went to Youngstown in 2014, but right now I just got out of the military and I'm getting back to school next year, God willing.
Welcome back.
Wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful. What do you want to study? Do you know what you want to pursue?
Right now I'm a pre-nursing, but I'm still thinking about it. But I got an offer for a job to work for the VA. So I'm still thinking about going back to school or doing both of them because of the coronavirus.
Great. We have two nursing mentors, PhD, Dr. Ngetich, brother to Dr. Ngetich, and we have Dr. Oluoch. So we have people already lined up for that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Joel here.
Hello.
Welcome, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Yes, okay. I'm Joel. I'm still in Kenya right now. I was actually, it's Audrey who gave me this link, and then I joined because I'm supposed to join at University of Arkansas, most probably when things get well. And I'm very, very grateful for this, for the meeting that we've had today, especially what Pastor Sami talked about, that it's very important for the guys who are still in Kenya to get to know what the reality on the ground in the States, even before they get there, because it will be easy to deal with the stress when they get there. I'm very, very grateful for this program, and I would really want to attend more and more of, I really look forward for more and more of the interaction. Thank you so much. I will be joining for a PhD in chemistry.
You're welcome.
What time is it now in Kenya?
It's 5 a.m.
Wow, that is commitment. Wow, that is
That's commitment, yeah. But you have a head start. You will be paid handsomely for that.
actually my daughter is in Arkansas, so we'll. My daughter is
Great.
in Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Great, great, great.
But we'll get you some mentors there. We have a lot of chemists here, actually. Moffat is a PhD. You have a lot of chemists here, so I think.
Hey, here's
Thank
my
you.
son, Tutu, carry, Henry. Just wait.
Oh, okay.
This one, he needs physics and calculus. Kimaru memona?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Okay, so
Wonderful.
thank you.
Wonderful.
We will talk.
Wow, wonderful. All right. Anybody else? Sheila's Sina. I think there's Sheila K. Christine wanted to say something.
Talk at some, yeah.
Yeah, Christine.
Gerono, Professor Gerono, when that student going to Arkansas comes in or connected, I have a mentor there as well, right there in Arkansas.
Oh, good. Joel Lumesia.
Let me know when you get his contacts.
Okay, Joel.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm so happy to hear that.
Wow, wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
So just send me, whoever gave you, just text me, and then I'll connect you to Dr. Professor Tairo. Theory, sorry. Christine.
All right.
Christine wanted to say something? I guess I'm okay. Well, I guess I'm in Yamaza. Okay. Why don't we pray, because it's 10 p.m. But we'll continue.
Before that, Gerono.
Yes.
Saina.
Okay, Saina.
Just
go ahead.
Muted.
Yeah, he's unmuted now. Go ahead. No, you, okay.
Okay. Thank you for giving me a chance, and I've been listening to everybody speaking, and I like the whole idea. And it reminds me, a couple of years ago, there was another organization that was doing exactly what you guys are doing, and that went on for a couple of years. I don't know whether it's still going on, but it's a good thing to have this. As students come in, they need to land in a place where they know there are people that have gone through this. And the reason why is we make this decision because we don't want students who are coming in to go through what we went through. Some of us, we came in here when there was hardly anybody. So to see this happening in this day and age, I've seen quite a lot of students come in and mentored many of them through sports where Kurgat, I know Kurgat and many of those, and Dr. Gerono, his brother, everybody, even Pastor Sammy. We've done this in many other areas, and for this to continue to happen, I think it's going to open ways and access to give these students access to things that probably they might not imagine. And Dr. Gerono, go ahead and put down my nephew. Went through the same program, mentored all the way down to PhD level. He works with what do you call this company? But he's got a PhD in physics, and I mean he's got the best what you can imagine. So the idea is to open these avenues for these students to have access to what they cannot imagine, and let's continue to do this. I like what I'm hearing, and in support of what's going on. So sky is the limit for the young people coming through, and I've seen my kids go through the same process, and they're done with college, and it's good to see somebody coming in and going through a program that will help them to reach to the levels that they were not even imagining. So let's all do this together and encourage each other access to other places that, you know, we have. There's so much to tap in this system. So thanks for giving me a chance, and Dr. Gerona has our contact, and she can network with everybody else to get access to places. I'm in Dallas. I've had a business for more than 20 years, and continue to mentor other students that are coming through the process. So if you're in Dallas, reach out to me, and we'll get you situated. So students who are here and those who are planning to come, don't feel like you are in a strange place. There's always access to resources that in terms of knowledge and anything else that you ever want. So thank you all for giving me a chance to say one or two.
Thank you so much, my brother Saina. We will pair you up with Musa Kiari over there in Dallas, and I appreciate it. And we'll come and take some golf classes too, some golf lessons too. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll put you down as a mentor plus your nephew. So we'll reach out to you. All right.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Christine, we don't want to leave you out. If you wanted to say something, if you're not able, then we'll just close so we can. Okay, Christine, going one, going two. You unmuted, Christine. Okay. Professor Ndengui, go ahead and close us with prayer so we can.
Yes, thank you. Sometimes you get the Holy Spirit. I volunteered this because,
Just one word.
This is a prayer I love to say in the morning when I get a chance.
One word just before you go, Dr. Diangui.
Okay.
I just want to say some of the topics we talk about are emotionally triggering. Sometimes we talk about racism. Today, the topic was emotionally triggering. I just want to, Sammy, you're here, you're a counselor, I'm a counselor. So anytime we have a sitting and we trigger you because you might actually be going through some of those things in any way, please reach out to us afterwards. Yeah, and then we will talk about it and see what to do. It is the ethical thing for us as counselors if you're there, and I'm sure we also have other Kenyan counselors. So please touch base with us, and we are also pretty observant. So if we note and we observe that you might have got triggered, please, we just would want to ask KESID permission to also follow up with you. I would rather we be wrong thinking that I did observe something amiss than just leave it alone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And you have our permission, and everything that goes on here is confidential. You give me your information, I will give it to our circle of care, and you know they are all professional, they're licensed counselors, and they know what to do. Okay, let's start Ndengui before the spirit leaves.
Okay, thank you. We used to say this prayer a long time ago. It has become really central to me. It's called the Peace Prayer, the Prayer of St. Francis. Let's pray. Lord, Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is eagerly pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. You have a wonderful evening. We appreciate you. We're in this together. This organization belongs to you, and we are here to support our students. We're here to support our leaders for tomorrow. We will stay in touch.
Having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can leave?
Yes, you can leave now.
Did you feel the spirit, Professor Gerono?
Yes, we felt the spirit. I felt like to go sleep before
Thank
the
you,
spirit
Professor
leaves.
Diengoy.
Yes, very good.
Dr. Mumbai, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks a lot. Well done, Sammy. Well done,
everybody.
Vida. It's just so nice, everyone. Muchai.
Thank you, everybody.
Very good.
Thank
Very
you
good.
so much.
Wanatheuri.
Thank you so much. We thought it would be 1 hour, but it's been almost 2 hours, almost 2.5
It is
hours.
because of the spirit moves us in that direction, you know.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. We can leave now, right?
Yes.
Yep.